Rube's Observations brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. We got to start with Jaylen. We probably started with Jaylen like 20 times in a row. But in overtime, I was sitting next to Ron Jaworski on the postgame live set. The Eagles are losing at this point. They're down a field goal. They're starting on their 25-yard line. The odds are against them. And I just said to Jaws, there's no way Jaylen Hurts is not winning this game. And I think everyone in the stadium believed it. I think everyone on the Eagles sideline believed it. I even think everyone on the Bills sideline knew it. I've never seen a guy who just has winning so ingrained in his being. It doesn't matter how bad things were, how ugly things were, turnovers, penalties, interceptions. I mean, to come back against the Chiefs down 10 at halftime, and then the Bills 6 days later down 10 at halftime, to win this game in overtime, to overcome these awful first halves, it's mind-blowing. Look, I've been around this team for almost 40 years. We've seen great players. We've seen Hall of Fame players. I've just never seen anybody who just refuses to lose and is able to pull these wins out of a hat week after week, year after year now. And that's why this team's going to be a Super Bowl contender as long as that guy is healthy. And one thing I really liked about this game was DeVonta Smith has kind of been in A.J. Brown's shadow really all year, really for a couple years. And that says more about A.J. than DeVonta. When you have 6 straight 125-yard games, that's going to happen. But the last few weeks, teams have really shaded their coverage over to A.J. He's getting doubled constantly, and the big numbers haven't been there for him. So what's happened? DeVonta has become a number one receiver. And that's really what he's always been. He's just not AJ. But the last 4 games, DeVonta has 23 catches, 355 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's got a 30-yard catch in all 4 of those games. And his production has been better than AJ. Now, look, AJ's getting doubled. So at some point, teams are going to say, well, we got to start doubling DeVonta a little bit, and then AJ will be open and he'll make big plays. It's how these two guys complement each other. And, you know, for a team that for large stretches of their history hasn't had one elite receiver, to have 2 of them is really remarkable. And finally, I gotta give kudos to Jake Elliott, who, to make a 59-yarder, I mean, they lose that game if he doesn't make that kick. In bad conditions, on a wet field, with a new holder, it was really astonishing kick. And it was an ugly kick. It was a line drive. It was windy down there. It was probably the toughest kick he's ever had to make, considering the circumstances and the conditions. He's now 3 for 3 in his career from 59 yards or out, which nobody else has ever been. He's got to be one of the most clutch Eagles I've ever seen at any position. 9 for 9 now in game-winning or game-tying kicks at the end of the fourth quarter overtime. And, you know, you just think how lucky the Eagles were to get him. Caleb Sturgis gets hurt in the 2017 opener. Howie signs Jake Elliott off the Bengals practice squad. And here he is. He wins the Super Bowl 42-46 in the fourth quarter in Minneapolis in 17. The Giants kick, 61-yard game winner. Big kick after big kick. It's one thing to make long field goals. He's making them in incredibly high leverage situations. And he's really one of the greatest long distance kickers in NFL history and one of the most clutch Eagles I've ever seen.